Welcome back to the channel, 40k fans. In this, a bit of a triple whammy video here. I decided to do a bit of an update video in regards to projects that I'm currently working on, just to keep you up to date with what's happening behind the scenes for a few of the armies. Not major changes. Obviously, I've already done the Thousand Sons army development, so go check that out for the proposed new lists for them. I haven't got any of the new models for them yet, so they won't be featuring in this particular video. This is more to do with, you know, just some of the other armies that you've maybe heard about or seen on the channel, maybe that haven't been out for a while. Bit of an update, which is a bit of a sad update, and also two other things as well that I wanted to do in the video. So one is going to be a bit of a giveaway. I'll explain that later on. But first of all, I'm going to jump straight into the projects that I'm currently working on. There's not a great deal, it's mainly just little changes, a couple of new bits and bobs that I've been trying and testing out. Not for all the factions, all the models that you're going to see here, one faction anyway, they're all pretty much painted up. There's a couple of other bits and bobs that aren't painted, but thought I'd share what I'm currently working on. So first of all, I think what I'll do is I'll start off with the smallest actually. So you might have seen the video of the issue 1 of Conquest that I did a little bit of a review on it. If you haven't watched it, like I say, go and check it out. There's lots of other reviews out there, but I'm just giving you my opinions on how I feel as though that the magazine was my own personal thoughts on it. So what I decided to get the magazine. I got a couple of copies. I didn't go mad. Got 4 copies, and I decided to get them because I'm starting to want to get into Kill Team. I haven't finished anything like that, but I decided to get the Marine side of it. So I've been fixing up some of the Marines. Just wanting to do a 100 point kill team. So I thought, well, it's been a long time since I've painted Space Marines. So I thought, why not? And these Primaris Marines they look really cool. And I talk about in that video that I wanted to do a chapter that I don't think it's very common in my area. Now, the chapter that I did years and years ago was Ultramarines. Probably a lot of people did Ultramarines at some stage, but I decided to do Flesh Tearers. Now, I have one of them almost like about 95% completed. Apart from I'm waiting on some transfer papers, and I'm undecided about what I want to do with the base. So I have one finished here, and I decided to do it as the Flesh Tearers chapter. So here he is, Flesh Tearers Intercessor. I'm really pleased with how he came out. I decided to do the little Purity Seal in purple because I think doing it red wouldn't have really went well against his armour. I wanted to make them a bit weathered as well, so you'll notice there's a couple of scrapes and scratches on the gun and on the shoulder pads. And obviously the shoulder pads is what I'm waiting for. I've got some custom transfers that I've downloaded, and I'm going to try to do my own Flesh Tearers symbol there. So I'm really, I was really pleased with how these guys came up. Just zoom in a little bit further there. Just obviously on his gun. I'm not the best painter, so this isn't me going, whoa, look at my painting. But I thought I'm really happy with how he turned out compared to I've never painted Space Marines for a long time. And yeah, so I thought these guys, in the fluff as well, these guys are just mental. Absolute psychotics. So I just followed the Warhammer TV tutorial, how to do them, and just put a little spin on myself. Drilled out the barrels, because I always like drilling the guns out on like human weapons. I don't do it on my Eldar, because a lot of the weapons, you kind of can't. So that's what I'm currently working on for the Space Marine side of it, for Kill Team. I don't know what to do with the bases. I was thinking about putting them on lava, but then I didn't know whether that would kind of offset against the colours, or whether to just do urban. Really, really not 100% sure yet, which is why I've kind of put off not finishing it yet. And plus waiting on the transfers to come through. But if you have any suggestions about what basis to stick these guys on, absolutely leave a comment for them. And I look forward to seeing some of the ideas. Maybe you guys will think of something I just totally haven't, and it might. I'll read through the comments. We do read through them, and I'll read it through, and I'll go, "Oh, actually, that's brilliant. I'll do that." So that's that. So that's model-wise for that. The next one, I haven't really got a great deal to do with Tyranids, mainly because I'm waiting on the specific spray that I need to do some, because I've got some Gene Stealers and stuff to paint. But the only main thing really is I've just been doing a little bit of magnetizing, so just some weapon changes. So on my Hive Tyrant, just been putting some magnets in there, making them more close combat based. I have actually used them in a game like this, and I really don't like using sometimes like with unpainted, but I want to get the colour right. So I'm waiting for the spray. I could probably undercoat it black and paint over it red. I am really, really tempted to do that, but I'm just a little bit scared that the arms will look a little bit of a slightly off colour to this. And I might not be able to get past that stage, and I'll be infuriated. So I'll just magnetise these, and I've also got some, just done some for the sights as well, just so that I can pop them on and make them look meaty. So I do prefer the whip and the sword, to be fair. But just on that subject as well, for this guy, I did do a tiny little modification on him, and it was inspired by some of the artwork, and I decided to put the little like the Predator style mandibles just on the side of his jaw, because I normally use this guy as the Warlord. I was quite impressed with that. I was quite pleased the way that it came out. Just a tiny little bit of a smudge there, which I need to clean up on his little mandible there. I'm a massive Predator fan, so that's why I decided to do that. I've been wanting to do it for ages. But that's pretty much it for Tyranids, really. Apart from a little terrain piece, which is going to feature in a battle report very soon. I'd finally decided to get this thing painted up, which is from the Objectives box, which I'm not sure if it's available anymore. So I painted it up like a little. It's as though the Adeptus Mechanicus have been looking at that. Decided to like dirty up the windows a bit, as though it's been there for quite some time. Obviously, Hive Fleet Gorgoth colour schemes here. My custom Hive Fleet. The spine down there. I thought it didn't take me very long to paint this at all. Probably the longest part was painting the actual window bit, because I had to like kind of to do these. I've found that to paint these so that the paint like adhesives to it is to file it down a little bit first, so that it's got somewhere to grip onto. So that's the button. I decided to do like a little, not like a heart monitor as though he's in hospital, but just I don't know. I just thought, oh, it would look cool if I put like some sort of, as though they're detecting and the monitoring and using it as though they're trying to find some sort of link to the hive mind, and I thought it was pretty decent. I do have the other ones as well to paint up, but I haven't gotten around to them yet. They are not on the list for working on anytime soon, because I don't really need them yet. So that's pretty much it for the Tyranid side of it. Oh, actually, no, it's not, because one of if you've watched the channel for quite some time, a couple of battle reports I've featured a good friend, Michael, who he's got his own channel. It's not massively war game oriented. He does a lot of online gaming. Wolfwraith, I'll leave a description and a link in the bottom. If you like watching the online game and things like that, he's really good at doing stuff like that. But very kindly, Michael did give me this, a metal Lictor. I've always loved the Lictor model. Unfortunately, however, he also got it. It's been like passed down the generations, and now it's came to me. So I've just been fixing him up, stripped him, just put him in a like a bit of a menacing pose, as though he's looking around, he's getting ready to strike. But the only problem, as you'll probably guess, is I don't have any of the big sides that kind of go over the top. and I've struggled and I've looked all over, and can I hell find them? I do have some different kind of sides here. Now I might try and green stuff, but I just think they're going to look too big. So if any of you guys have any idea where you can get these for not paying like hundreds of pounds of stupid money for them, be really, really appreciated. If anybody has any spare that they want to donate, or if anybody knows where on earth I can get them. So I'm looking forward to getting this dude painted up, especially with them being a metal one as well. It's not very easy to find a metal one these days. But yeah, looking forward to getting him featured in with the Hive Fleet. So that's it for the Tyranids. That's definitely it for the Tyranids. So thank you very much, Michael, once again for giving us that. He did give us some Ripper Swarms as well, which they're not like a major update, to be fair. I've just been working on some Ripper Swarms, just gluing them all up. And I like my Ripper Swarms to be actual swarms rather than just the 3. So I wanted as many on as I possibly could fit. So these will be getting sprayed up soon, as soon as my spray paint arrives. Apart from that, like I say, for Tyranids, that's pretty much it. The main one's Harlequins. Now, Harlequins is an army that I am excited. I do love them. I love the book. I haven't had a full game with them because they're just... The one of them armies and the one of them units I've really, really got to be in like the proper 40k mood to be able to do. And with things the way that they've been lately, I haven't been able to get them out as quick as I really wanted them to be. So I do apologise for that. But that being said, I am very close to getting them up to 1,000 points. Now, it doesn't sound like a massive amount, but for the colour scheme that I've chose, it's a bit of a leap really for us. So I do have the units here, which I'm going to show you. So I'm just going to bring them in one by one. So I've got one of my favourite models, and I've always wanted one since they came out, and that was the Solitaire. Very, very easy to paint this guy. He only took us maybe an hour, an hour and a half. Just put the skulls on there. I wanted him menacing, which is why I went pretty much majority black. Couple of bright colours on him, but no real diamonds or anything like that, apart from, you know, the odd little tiny bit. But really happy with him. And I've got a Starweaver fixed up. Now for these, mentioning bases, I'm going to put these on the same basis as I've done my Thousand Suns. I just need to get these guys done. So, Starweaver. Now, I don't actually do the models on the side of them, because I like to stick my models in there for game purposes. So, I'm really happy with this, the way that this guy came out. Painted the diamonds and everything all freehand. Bit of a... Well, actually, not too bad on the vehicles. It's the actual the troops, and obviously just underneath as well. So happy with that, and just a little bit of a homage towards Ulthuan, which is why I kind of marked them with bleach bone, just to kind of tie it in a little bit towards my Craftworld Eldar. So that's that. I've also got 2 Skyweavers. So I really, really like these models, the 2-man jet bikes. There's one. Really impressed. I absolutely love them. With the haywire cannon, and I actually glued this in before the new Codex as well, so I wasn't jumping on the whole bandwagon. But yeah, really happy with the way that came out. And I think, depending on squad size, I might change these up a bit, but I might just leave them, and then it leaves me free reign if I decide to have bigger squads. So there's one, and the next one is not too different, to be honest. I'll give these a look at it, of course. So yeah, the Zephyr Glaive and the haywire cannon underneath, and just the diamonds on there. I just think for my Harlequins, I wanted them to be very colourful, but also menacing, and I think, well, I'm hoping that I've kind of pulled that off. These are painted as the Mask of Midnight Sorrow, with a tiny little bit of a twist, because if you look very closely at the models that the Mask of Midnight Sorrow, the diamonds on the troops, which I'll show you in a second, they're actually blue and red, not blue and purple, whereas mine are blue and purple. So I also have a Death Jester. I love this model. I think he looks really, really cool. He's an absolute nightmare to construct for this little thing on the back. But you've probably seen this guy before. He's been painted up for quite some time. I was really into the Flash Season 2 when I painted this guy. And if you have watched it, Zoom, the bad guy, that's where I kind of got the inspiration to kind of do that, like the black with the blue highlight in there. That's why I decided to do that. I thought, yeah, he looks pretty cool. So there's one Death Jester. I am working on another one. He's not finished yet, but I'm going to do a slightly different scheme on him, just to mix him up. I've decided to do the whole masks, the skull. Like I say, he's a work in progress, him. So you can just go there. Now, the troop unit that you may have seen before was these guys here. So, Troop Master with the Caress. And I do have another troop painted up now. Now, what I've done to kind of differentiate them for game purposes and also just aesthetically, the gem in the middle on the flip belt is blue on these guys. So there's the Troop Master. Another troop there with the fusion gun. So yeah, you'll see on the diamonds I've done purple and blue rather than the red and blue. Focusing. Just with a little bit of blue highlight down her eye there as well. So there's her. And the rest of them are pretty much, you know, once you've seen one, there's another, but there's one there with the Caress. I'll just put the rest of them down because it's the next unit, really, that's the newer unit. So I do have another unit all finished and painted up. So these guys are the second squad. So Troop Master. I know he's not built really for much gaming, but I did give him the sword because I think it looks cool, and it's not too bad when you give him the storage sword, fusion gun, and red gem to differentiate the two squads. I'm quite pleased with the way he's turned out. So there's the second Troop Master there. These, when I built them as well, I'm not big on magnetizing these guys, and the reason being is because my eyes are not the best to be able to magnetize so many different weapons. So these are the squad that has the Harlequin's Kiss, which is an iconic Harlequin weapon, and I had to just put them on. And same again, red gem. Quite pleased with her. And the poses on them as well are absolutely fantastic miniatures. I'm not the best at painting diamonds, really not. There's some absolutely fantastic painters out there. But I'm happy with the way that they came out for me. But yeah, so quite pleased with these guys. And obviously, like, I'm not going to show all of them, like I say, but there's just this last one that I really like the pose of this guy. He's got like the pirate style sword. I think it looks awesome. Proper jester style. A couple of years ago, I went to a masquerade ball. And I purposefully bought a mask that is exactly the same as that, like on Labyrinth style mask. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to paint it pretty much like what I own. But yeah, fusion gun, of course. Fusion guns, all like the in-range thing. They are a brilliant, brilliant weapon. But yeah, quite happy with how the Harlequins have turned out. So I'll just so that's the way that the force looks for the Harlequins now. It's starting to build up. What's left to paint for these is obviously the Death Jester. I do have, just up here, another Starweaver, which is black at the moment. I do really need to get my finger out and paint the rest of them up, because they're so close to 1,000 points. Start to get little small games in with the Harlequins. Might even do some kill team with them, because I've heard Harlequins are brutal. But it'd be just interesting to get them on the board, really. So looking forward to seeing these guys up, and I am going to concentrate on these. These are my priority. So hopefully, I would probably say about maybe a month, really, realistically, given times and shift patterns and stuff and work-wise. I think that's quite a realistic target to get the rest of them all done up, and at least a small game done for them. So I'll just move them slightly back. There's nothing like a surprise here, like I'm going to just dump like loads more on. I wish I could. But that's them guys. Terrain. Oh, sorry, no. Before I go on to terrain, I do just have it's not a major thing really. It's mainly just for the Eldar. It's a new unit for the Eldar that I'm gonna start working on. These are totally unpainted. The green stuff is as green as I put them on, so these are not the finished product. But I wanted some Shining Spears, and for a long time, I actually had the new style jet bikes. I had a squad of 3, and I never did anything with them. So I decided, right, I'm going to do the 3 new jet bikes. I'm going to convert them slightly because I want the new ones, the new jet bikes, to look to be the Shining Spears. So I've got one here. Now, it looks a bit daft the way that it is at the moment, but once the paint gets on, that's where the difference will be. So a Shining Spear with the lance. Now, the arm actually looks huge compared to the actual Guardian. But once the paint gets on, it'll all blend together. And with the old style metal Guardian's head here, from the from back in the day, from the Black Guardians, just focusing a little bit there. So the lance, and the lance I got from Puppets War, if you're interested in checking that out. So a little bit of green stuff. It was a bit of a pain because the metal doesn't really adhere very well to plastic at all. He just kept falling off all the time. So I need to get him worked on for that. And then the only 2 things really is just the other 2 to go alongside with him. And these are still loose. This guy, for example, I can take them off because I want to get all the detail in there before putting them on properly. So just with them lances. It's only a squad of 3 at the moment. I'll probably end up expanding them to a bit of a bigger squad. I quite like the look of these lances. They're like the little bit of like the tip towards the bottom. It's not bent. It's actually, you can't really tell really on this, but inside there, that's a little bit better. It's like where the energy would come out of. So I'll put like an energy effect on there, just to give you a bit of a look, just with the light there. So I do actually have another couple of the lances, and so hopefully you'll be able to do maybe expand and do a unit of 5. Just moving on to more about Eldar. The only other things really is the Wraithguard. I've got these guys, Wraithguard unit here. Just move the light a little bit there because it's not really focusing. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, he's very, very basic at the moment. I've had these a long time, just never really used them. I might actually adapt these and make them as Wraith Blades. I'm not sure on these at the moment. Because I had these on for 7th, and I haven't magnetised them. I know it's the way to go, but I'm not the best at magnetising really, like the small stuff. So most of my opponents, like I say, Graham's my main opponent, and he's normally happy for me to use these when they're painted up, of course, as the cannons if I want to do that. So that's pretty much it for Eldar. Just been working, well, apart from scenery really. Why is that not focusing? There we go. Focus is a little bit off. Don't know why. Just been working on a little tiny bit of scenery. Nothing major. Just been working on the barricades from Spellcrow. It's been a while since I actually got these. I've had so much other stuff that I've been working on. But been getting these sorted out. So I'll just zoom in on that. There we go. That's better. So just been painting the gems. Need to paint the actual the bottom part and dirty this up a little tiny bit. But I wanted it to look fairly pristine. Need to put a couple of washes on it. And there's another one there as well. So they're pretty awesome. And terrain. The only other thing really is I got 2 new bits of terrain. They're all finished and completed up. And these will be featuring in a battle report shortly. I'm going to give no spoilers as to what the report is going to be about, but it is going to be pretty epic. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So, got these guys, the Vengeance weapon batteries. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I think they look mint. I've still left it off, so once put on, obviously turn it. but just give you a little bit more of a closer look. So it's got all the skulls, and used Typhus Corrosion just to dirty up the bottom, as though it's been, obviously I don't want it nice and pristine exact. It's quite easy to paint. I just wanted the whole, you know, the metallic look, as though it is steel that's constructed. That's the base part, and then just with the top on, with the insignia there for the skull. And I've also done like the weapons burn. I don't know if you'll be able to see it properly. Like the heated up effect. 2 seconds. Yeah, like the heating effect on the end. Pretty easy to do. All it is, it's just a Drakenhof Nightshade, almost like at the end, and then as you move down, just see if I can. Actually, I'm going to need a pointer for this, aren't I? Because I can't do this with my sausage fingers. So, just for anybody who's interested who doesn't know how to do this, so just on the end there, right on the edge, is Drakenhof Nightshade, runs down to about there. And then in between here, you can't really tell a massive amount, but there's Druchii Violet Wash there. And then right at the end, Seraphim Sepia Wash. And then you just leave it a little bit of silver. So it's all the barrel's been spinning up, heated up and firing loads of shells out. Obviously, that's the heat effect there. Done without an airbrush, because I don't airbrush, I don't know how to, but I still like doing it the old-fashioned way. So that's that. So that's the Terror for that one. Pretty impressed with the way that it came out. And just got another one, which is the Battle Cannon one. And I just, for this one, it's not as technical on the end, but I just scuffed it up at the end with black, just to make it as though there's obviously the heat for like the powder burns off the shells. So I'm pretty cool bits of terrain, the way that they came out. So obviously that's them set up like that. I think they'll look pretty impressive. I think they look awesome. I'm happy with the way they came out. So apart from that, not a great deal of other stuff really that I've been working on. Now, little bit of sad news. And this is it was a decision that I didn't take very lightly. But pretty much not going to go into detail really, but because of some scenario, like personal circumstances, I had to get rid of an army. I don't make the most amount of money, you know. I don't get paid to do YouTube. It is just a hobby. You know, this isn't a paid channel or anything like that. And unfortunately, I had to get rid of an army, and that army, out of all the armies that I do, and all the ones that are still in the works, like the Harlequins, things like that, it was a very, very hard decision, but the Necrons were the ones that have gone. I am sad to see them go. I didn't really want to, well, of course, nobody wants to sell an army, really, unless you're totally getting out of the hobby altogether and you're not interested in it, but just out of necessity, they are the army that had to get the chop, really. I won't get rid of my Eldar. They're my first army, my proper first army, really. Certainly not getting rid of the Harlequins or the Thousand Sons, and especially not the Tyranids either. So that's what it came down to. The Necrons are still going to feature on the channel, because obviously Graham's got his Necrons as well. And who knows, hopefully in the future, the Necrons will start to resurge, maybe with a bit of a different colour scheme in the future, but there'll be the odd one or two models that I'll keep, and you may end up seeing them in the future. But yeah, so it's just a bit of sad news that one of the armies had to go, but that's life, really. Right, so and that's pretty much it for the projects and what's happening for armies and model wise. But the next thing was I was wanting to do. I haven't really done one before. I wanted to do a bit of an FAQ. A Q&A. So it was basically just ask us your questions, really. You know, what got us into the hobby, what's your favourite model, anything like that. It can be unrelated to 40k, You know, please, obviously there may be younger viewers, so, you know, please try and keep any questions that you want to fire at us clean, you know, and certainly answer them. So on this video, for the comments, by all means, any comments is fine, but if you leave a question, we'll certainly be looking at the questions, and we'll hopefully answer them in the next couple of weeks as well, after this video has been put out. And that's pretty much it for what we want for Q&As. Ask us pretty much anything, but please keep it clean, because, you know, there is younger viewers out there. And the only other thing really was a bit of a giveaway. Now, giveaway, I want to do this in a bit of an unorthodox way. On this video, for the giveaway, which I'll tell you what it is in a second, I want people who want to enter it, I want the reason for why you think you should win. Now, it doesn't kind of make sense the way I'm putting it, but the giveaway, ideally, I want this to be for somebody who either has children or is wanting to get into the hobby, who's never been into the hobby. And I want, so basically what it is the winner will be chosen on the comment, and obviously the reasoning for it. So leave it on this video, put your reasoning, you know, I want to win whatever the product is, which I'll show you in a second. And just a little bit of background as to, I want to win it for me son, or this, that, and the other. I just want to kind of give back, really. That's all it's for. And what that is a copy of the first issue of Conquest. And this is the particular reason I want this to go to somebody who is maybe he's young, maybe, you know, maybe he's like 15, 16, or just starting to get into the hobby. So anybody who already has an army, who's been into the hobby for a long time or anything like that, please don't enter. This isn't aimed for you. Ideally, I want this to go to somebody who doesn't really know what Warhammer is, and is desperate to get into the hobby, or, you know, kids that are going, Dad or Mum, can I please start doing this? I want to give this to people like you that want to start into the hobby, who, you know, just to get them used to the way that it works. So like I say, just leave your comments as to the reasoning. So like I say, you could be anything, could be, oh, this would be awesome for my nephew who's just, you know, he constantly plays with mine all the time and he's broke me models, or anything like that. That'd be awesome. You know, that's ideally what I'd want to do, to get somebody into the hobby. And I think it'd be fun to give it to somebody who would appreciate it, really. Not somebody who's just going to scalp it on the internet, or already has like a 10,000 point army. You know, sorry, but that's not what that giveaway is for. Giveaways in the future will be aimed more, you know, towards the veterans. You know, like maybe it's like a Start Collecting box or something like that. You know, the bigger stuff. This one is for the newbies. So that's pretty much it. So you have seen, obviously, what I'm working on at the moment. Graham currently isn't really working on anything at the moment. Not really. He's pretty much caught up with the majority of stuff. And obviously the terrain. Please, like I said, stay with us. Just trying to get out there for the there is going to be a really cool battle report coming up, which you're going to see. The turrets featured in that, as well as other stuff which hasn't been featured on here, on this video, but it will appear. It is a bit of a clue. It's going to be a bit of a thematic battle rather than overly competitive. It's going to be round about 3,000 points. So I don't know whether that'll be classed as Apocalypse, maybe, but we're really looking forward to this one. So probably about by the time this video goes up, I would like to say that it'll be filmed and edited and out there 3 weeks at the max. So that's our aim. Aims to be a fun one as well. So, like I say, guys, please leave your questions, and also please leave if you want to enter. You know, people who not really bothered about Space Marines or don't want to enter, then please, obviously, you know, you don't have to. But if you want to enter it to win the issue 1 for somebody out there who desperately wants to get into the hobby, please leave your reasoning and any questions, and we'll answer them as soon as we get enough questions in. But until then, please check out the rest of the channel. We have the battle reports up there, our bread and butter, of course. There's army developments, and please check us out and give us a sub as well, and pass it on if anybody's wanting to check us out. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching and happy wargaming.